cats and kittens. Orewa Jose Yoroshiku. Here, back in the Crisis Corner to give my impressions of Star Wars The Last Jedi. I'm going to preface my impressions by saying, first of all, I thoroughly enjoyed the music, the movie. I was thoroughly entertained. I liked it. I thought it was a very good movie. I don't think it was a great movie for various reasons. But the thing is, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I had a good time and so forth. It's not necessary that Last Jedi be great. It would be nice, but being very good is not a knock. It's first of all, it's just a one person's impression. And you ask 10 people and they'll tell you 10 different things. So just my personal impressions. It was very, very good. Uh, the technical aspects in terms of visually, it was great. Uh, where it failed to some extent, I think, was put like this: if you had not seen The Force Awakens, then you would probably enjoy the movie even more. But the two movies in my impression is the two movies are almost independent of each other in that Last Jedi didn't follow through on a lot of things that Force Awakens set up, and that's fairly obvious, especially with Rey's parentage. I think that was a choice from the writers. I wouldn't have done that because the expectations. Now, if you want to thwart people's expectations and throw them for loops, and you know, all right, fine, job well done, but I don't buy it. And again, it's not a knock on the movie. I liked it. I really liked it. But if you're gonna throw lineage out the window, then it doesn't really matter. Then the Skywalkers didn't matter and anybody else doesn't matter. And maybe lineage doesn't have to always matter in terms of Force users. Uh, just anybody could be a great Force user just off the bat, but at the same time, it was set up that Rey had an affinity based on some prior knowledge, whether it was some weird type of clairvoyance or whatever. She had a connection to the Force, to the Jedi, to the past, and you would assume, unless we're dealing with reincarnation or something, that there was some kind of a link between her and either the past or just the Jedi in general. Again, that could all fly out the window, and you can just say, it's irrelevant. Well, then you shouldn't have set that up in the last movie. So it seems like, it just seems like the films work independent of each other in some instances. I don't want to give up too much, but I didn't have a problem with. A lot of people had a problem with the way Luke was portrayed, given the passage of time, given the fact that, I mean, maybe what 30 years or so had passed, what he had been through, um, could change a person. I don't think he was that far off from maybe what Yoda was after his exile. Uh, People change, so he didn't have to always be the bright-eyed optimist that we saw last, or the whiny kid that he started off as. Now he's a grumpy old man. People tend to become grumpy old men over time. It happens. But I think Luke, yeah, I didn't have a huge problem with the way Luke was portrayed. I think there wasn't a lot of follow through on the Ray Finn. There wasn't any follow through on the way Ray Finn. Matter of fact, they threw that completely for a loop. The Ray Finn relationship. Uh, I like the way Leia was portrayed. And she had a touching moment with Luke towards the end. That was cool. She even displayed some force powers that were way out of there, which was cool with me. I mean, a lot of people saw that as being whatever, as left field, whatever. Here's my pet peeve. Um, Consistently, the Star Wars films do not want to go over the top with force user abilities. Now, to an extent, they kind of did. Uh, the feat that Luke accomplished at the end of the movie was actually pretty. It was not what was foreshadowed at the beginning. Uh, and when I say that, well, I'm gonna give a slight spoiler. At the beginning, a slight spoiler, whatever. At the beginning, it was Luke stated that Ray came to him for help, and he told her basically, "You expect me to go out there with a lightsaber and stand off against the entire First Order?" Well, that pretty much came to fruition at the end of the film. So you figure, is he going to have this standoff where he's going to basically go up against hordes of the First Order, AT-ATs and Imperial Walkers and all of that stuff? They didn't follow through with that, and it wasn't a big problem for me. What he actually did was very, very difficult. Um, I'm gonna get into that in a second in another spoiler type issue. But I would have liked to see him. I wanted to see extended universe, Emerald Lightning. I wanted to see half of those troops taken out. Frankly, I wanted to see. I wanted to see him rain down some serious destruction on those guys because the style. I mean, look. At some point, I'm a fan of the extended universe prior to Disney or whatever, where you had the Emerald Lightning, where you had Force users in the past that could drain the Force out of entire planets and knock star destroyers out of the sky, just Force users. I wanted to see that at some point in the films. Now at this point, you have people that can cast lightning, they can excellent fencers and stuff like that. That's cool. That's cool. But I want to see that plus ultra type damage, and dudes go in and do freakish type stuff that make you soil your pants. You know what I mean? But they're not gonna do it. Apparently, they had a shot right there. They could have done it, but they didn't. Fair, okay. That's my dream. That's never gonna come true. That's fine. But I would have liked to seen it. The resolution at the end, basically, again, this is gonna be a spoiler, I guess. But hopefully, a lot of you have seen it, so it's not gonna be an issue. I think the difficulty in the task that Luke performed at the end was that Snoke, who got clowned by the way, which is another issue that I had. Snoke projected images over vast distances to two people. Luke had to project the image, an illusion, to the Resistance and to the First Order. Everybody that was looking had to see this image and believe that it was real for as long as it took to save the Resistance fighters. I think that was a lot more difficult than what Snoke did. So I would not even say that Snoke was more powerful than Luke. I would have liked to have seen them fight, but it wasn't necessary. I'm not mad that they didn't fight each other, but I still believe Luke was probably significantly more powerful than Snoke. Snoke. Snoke got clowned. I mean, he got clowned, and I think that detracted from the film. Um, Your big bad has to be a big bad, and at this point, I don't know if Snow could have beat Kylo Ren in a straight up fight. Uh, I tend to doubt it at this point. Uh, so that was unfortunate, but I still like I said, I like the film. Don't take anything I say as a no go. Don't go see this movie type. Whatever. I'm just these are my personal preferences. Um, Finn v Phasma was never going to happen. They tried to make it a thing. It's not. Okay. Phasma got clowned in the first film when she gave up information to the resistance without a hand being put on her. She betrayed the First Order in the first film under little duress. I think they threatened her or something like that and then threw her into a trash compactor. So she was clowned at that point. Whatever happens after that was pointless. I mean, they trying to make Finn v Phasma a thing. It's not going to happen. It didn't happen in this film, and it's never going to happen. So forget about that. I thought Rose was an interesting character. I think she was a good character. I liked her. And Finn and Rose's little adventure in the casino world, I thought that was was it necessary? Ultimately, it was necessary because of the character that was introduced uh, at the end, the little stable boy, who is going to be significant either in the next film or somewhere down the road, assuming the next film. So that was necessary. It just the film ran a little long. I maybe didn't feel it as I was going through the film, but it did run a little long, and I think there was some things that there wasn't anything that you could have cut out that I can think of, but it did seem a little bit long. Uh, Outside of that, that's about all I really want to get into. Main thing is I enjoyed it. I think it was flawed to an extent, but not enough to say it was anywhere near a bad film. The Rotten Tomato deal where the critics loved it and the fans were lukewarm about it. I'm still in the camp with saying there's some kind of conspiracy going on with Rotten Tomatoes because I can go back to Justice League and tell you Justice League was tight. And they clowned that flick. I don't know why, but whatever. I'll put out a review on that too, but a review. I'll give my impressions on that too. But Justice League, not Justice League, Star Wars was a very good movie. Go see it. It's fun. You'll be entertained. I think it was like with all Disney products, it's maybe a little too jokey. But then again, Star Wars is not to be taken extremely seriously. Uh, but it might have been a little bit jokey when it didn't need to be. But other than that, it was a great experience. Saw it twice. Liked it better the second time, actually. Uh, Go see it. It's fun. So those are my impressions. Go see it. Hope you like it. And I'm gonna give you my impressions of Justice League and Thor also because I got they're connected. This I got issues with not issues. Those are two films that I actually liked also. But going back to this Rotten Tomato thing, I think there's something's going on here. Anyway, that's all I have. I'll holler at you next time. Stay loose.